Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Raptor here with Good Clean Gaming RX, and today we are back in Blender. Today I'm going to be working again on our brick wall segments here. Today I'm going to be working on making a window. So we're going to go ahead and get right into that. If you're finding these videos useful or instructive, do me a favor and go ahead and leave a like and a comment. And if you have any ideas for what you'd like me to make first, go ahead and don't be afraid to leave a comment down below, as that really helps me to know what people are looking for. And if I can make something for my game and help you guys out at the same time, that's a win-win for both of us. So also, if you're liking these, stay tuned by hitting the subscribe button. And that way when the next video comes out you will be notified. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get into making this window now. So I'm going to go ahead and actually let's move this one. And we're going to move these over here so that they're out of the way. And then move this one back over. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a cube. I'm going to set this to 1 meter wide, and then we're going to grab this and move it. Let's see, I guess we don't want to go on the Y, so we'll do Shift Y. Alright, there we go. And let's see here, I'm going to go ahead and turn this. There we go. So I've got a little bit more realistic lighting here. And I'm going to scale this just slightly. There we go, perfect. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this and move it on the Y axis so that it's buried a little bit deeper in the frame. I'm going to scale it on the Y now. So that we've got it sticking out a little bit on either side, but it's not too much on either one. Okay, good. I'm going to go ahead now and perform a Boolean modifier. Again, we're going to select the brick because that's the one that we're going to be doing the actual modification on. We're going to do this as a difference here. Keep the part of the mesh that intersects with the other selected object. Two meshes in an additive. No, we're going to do a difference here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to select our cube. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to duplicate this one. Just so that we've got that. There we go, overlap threshold, and we should be good to go there. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this. And then we can go ahead and grab this. Good, and as you can see we've got a nice window cut in the side there. I'm going to go ahead and delete this one because I don't need that actually. Let's just go ahead and back that one up. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and we'll get into this one now. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this one a modifier. Go ahead and select the face with Control 3, and I'm going to grab this and move it on the Y axis here till it's about halfway. There we go, and then we're going to add a modifier, and we're going to do this one with the mirror. There we go, and instead of doing this on the X axis, we're going to do this on the Y axis there. Perfect. Okay, and view, I'm trying to see how mesh show hide. Let's see here. go ahead and we're going to go ahead and hit view, no object. Can I hide? There we go, show hide, and I'm going to hide selected. There we go. Now we can go ahead and get into here, and we'll go ahead and drag this until those merge, and we're going to go ahead and set clipping on so those automatically snap together there. Okay, now that we've got that this way, I'm going to go ahead and get an inset face there so that we've got a little bit of an edge. I'm going to extrude this. There we go, in the negative direction, so that those are now face to face on that side. You know what? Oops. I don't want to do that. We don't want to go all the way there. We want to bring it out just a tad so that we've got a window there. They've gone and changed it. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and hit the subdivide key there with the context menu, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit this. No, it's gone and done it differently. Okay, I'm going to set this to 0. Whoop, that's a little bit too much. There we go, and then we'll go ahead and select these and do the same. There, so that we've got a little bit of a window here, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab these edges and do an old trick that I knew back, or that I'd learned back in my SketchUp days, because that's where I originally started my modeling. I'm going to go ahead and grab this and move it out on the y-axis, and we now have some window panes. Very good. Okay. Now I also want to go ahead and there's no way to do that now either. Okay, I'm going to jump to the front here. There we go. Oop. Let's do this on the back side. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and we'll just use the box select now. Oh, that's not done it. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and go Control 3 so that I've got all the faces selected. There we go. I'm going to drag these and move them out just a tad. And I'm going to go wireframe here so that we can see. Ooh, that is a bit wide. Okay, we're going to go ahead and grab these on the Y again and move them in, because we don't want that glass to be too thick. I'd say that's probably a decent amount there. Let's see here, these are out at meters, so those are tenths of a meters or a decimeter. So this is going to be about a centimeter. That's still pretty thick for glass. That's okay, it'll help when we actually get into interacting with them. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring this back to solid there. Good. And we're going to go ahead and find our brick wall section. There we go, and turn that one back on. Okay. So that's made us a basic brick window in our brick wall section. That went rather quickly. We didn't do anything really too fancy there, but I think that worked quite nicely. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to join these now Let's do that. Hit Control J, and I'm going to go ahead and rename these now, and we're going to call this one brick window. Actually, let's make sure it's brick window section. There we go. Alright, so that's got a door, a window, and a standard wall. What else might we need? Of course, because we've got the door and the door frame there, we can always set these up for a wall without that door, so that we can just have a walkway through there if we need to. Double doors would be easy enough to do with, we just move those out a decent amount and then duplicate that one, so I'm not going to bother doing that one right now. Actually, you know what? Yeah, that won't take very long. Okay, let's see about making ourselves a wooden floor. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move this one out a little ways, and I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add another mesh, and I'm going to make this one, I'm going to move this up slightly so that we've got a floor. There we go, good. Go ahead and edit into here with tab and extrude down. There we go, so that we've got a little bit more of a base floor there. I'm not going to worry about making it realistically thicker, because I'm just going to use this one, whether it's for the top floor or for the bottom floor. It really is not going to make a whole lot of difference, physically speaking, when we get into the game. But it will, graphically speaking, I want it to be thin enough where we're not taking up the entire ceiling. So I'm going to go ahead now and get into here, and I'm going to go ahead and add another plane. I'm going to grab this one and move it up vertically, and then I'm going to go ahead and scale this one, and I'm going to do this one on the y-axis, so that we've got, let's do that, a plank there. We'll go ahead and extrude it to give it some depth. Hang on. Oops. Okay, yep. We'll go ahead and extrude it. There we go. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and select all of it. And actually, we're just going to leave this one. And we'll go ahead and create an array. We're going to do this one on the y-axis, not the z-axis. And we're going to give it a constant offset, and the y will do 0.01. Just so that we've got just a barely visible crack there. Okay, good. Now I'm going to go ahead and we'll move this one over till it matches nicely there. Good. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the fix count tool here, and we'll just do that. Okay, that one's not quite enough, so we're going to bring this one down to 10. That's a nice even number. Go ahead and get into here, and we're going to scale this one on the Y. Okay. And we'll line that up right with there. Perfect. And little bit off place there, so I'm going to go ahead and scale that one on the Y again until it matches up just perfectly. Good. Alright, so that gives us our floor. Now, I could just leave it like this, but the problem is that if you've ever looked at a wood floor, you know that there are joints. The boards obviously don't extend on forever. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a couple of edits on here. I'm going to go ahead and apply this modifier. There we go, so that we have each of these boards to work with. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a couple of these boards and I'm going to duplicate them. Oops. Move these on the x-axis there. Good. And then I'm going to go ahead and start editing these a little bit. I'm going to grab this and move it on the X. There we go. And then we'll move that. There we go. So that matches nicely. And then we'll go ahead and grab this end here and move that on the X until it lines up nicely here. I'm going to go ahead and grab this on the X there. There we go. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a gap there. I'm going to go ahead and do that now with a couple of these. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and then jump back up to the top here. I really should have done this first. No, we're just going to take these and start editing these and make them how we want them. So we'll just deselect and start dragging these around. Myself here. There we go. Good. All right. Having laid a few floors in my lifetime, I kind of know a little bit of what I'm doing here. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and we'll just select all of these and start dragging them out until they're the distance that we want here. It's probably good there. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and do that again here. Oops. Okay, so we'll do that. And Shift D, move it again on the X. There we go, good. go ahead and do the same with this one. I'm just kind of making sure, or trying to make sure, that the gaps here in the floor are not too much wider than the ones at the ends, or at the sides, sorry. That's good. And we'll go ahead and do the same here with this one. There we go. Okay. I'll leave that one there, that's good. Oops. Ow. Okay. There we go. For those of you who are paying attention, you caught what I just did there. I made the mistake of duplicating only the top. And so I was only pulling out the top of the plank there, and I wasn't actually getting any depth to it. There we go, good. Okay. Good, and then we'll quickly do this. And then I'm going to try out something. There we go, good. Ow. There we go. Alright, so as you can see, these are all sticking out rather interesting distances. So I want to go ahead and make sure that all of these are even with the ends there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select each of these end pieces that are sticking out, and I'm going to go ahead, that one there, and this one there, and that one there. And I'm going to scale these on the global, but I'm going to do it to active element. And I'm going to scale this on the X now, and set it to 0, and that'll automatically snap all of those to the same X location as this one. And so as you can see, I've got a nice even edge all the way along there. So that's a very nice trick when you're trying to line up a whole bunch of stuff. You just got to make sure you select the one that you want everything to line up to last, like so. and there we go. So we've got a seam now on just about every board. This one doesn't have one because I didn't want all of them to be completely perfect or completely broken like that. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one and grab it and move it back on the X just a tad so that it lines up when we duplicate these. Okay, go ahead and snap to the front here, and we're going to bring this down till it's buried just slightly in the floor below. As you can see, that overlaps just a tad there. And I'm going to go ahead and we'll get out of there so that that is just by itself. Okay. Perhaps that's not quite enough. No, it's enough of a spacing. You can see it when you zoom in a little bit. Okay, good. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and take this one and hit Control J to join those two, and then we'll just do a check here and add modifier array, and we'll just check and see and make sure that those don't have really too much of a noticeable anything wrong with them. And as far as I can see here, it looks like everything lines up just perfectly. You can't see any seams. So I can't even tell. I think about right. Well, let's see here. Right there. Oop. That's where it is. But that looks like that worked. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, yep, right there. That's where the join is, and that looks like that worked just perfectly. So that's a brick window and then a wooden floor segment. I don't think this one is quite the right size though, so we're going to go ahead and compare it up here, and we'll go up to the top here. There we go. Perfect. So obviously we would need this to be a little bit lower when we're putting these into our game, and we're going to overlap this. Let's see here why we want to move this. There we go, so that our door actually sits on there nicely. Okay, now for a little bit of an experiment, I'm going to go ahead and we'll add a couple of modifiers here so that we've got a nice floor. We're going to turn this one off there and set it to 1 here. Okay, good. So that we've got a nice floor area. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and grab these and start to move them around here. Very good. So that we've got overlaps just a little bit there. Grab, whoops. Ooh! Well, we've learned another shortcut today. this is not quite on the same, so I'm going to grab this one and move it on the Y axis. Ow. No, even that's not quite it. I must have rotated this one around or something. Ah. There we go. Alright, close enough. Now I'm going to go ahead and we'll duplicate this one. Let's see here. Alt D, I believe, is the duplicate. Good. We're not going to move it around on that one. I'm going to rotate on the Z 90 degrees. And I guess that is going to be the problem that we run into there, isn't it? Ho-hum. So it doesn't work so well on the corners, does it? Okay, well we'll have to figure that out for our corner sections. Here we go, good. And I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this one and move it out. There we go. So that we've got a nice little demo there. Perfect. So as you can see, this works pretty nicely. Everything seems to be lining up decently well, except for right here at the corner. The windows and doors seem to be working well enough. There's obviously no transparency on any of them yet, but that's something I'm going to get into at a later date, because right now I'm just creating the assets for the game, and I'm not really going to get into any kind of transparency or textures or anything in here. I will be creating those textures for this, but that will come at a later date. So for right now, I'm going to leave that right here, and I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Oops. Move this out there. There we go. Alright, there we go. Yes. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone.